A good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 14th of April, 2025. Coming to the Crusty podcast, episode 361, Ranting and Pondering. That's right, no facts or figures, just me bitching on a full-time level. All that more coming to the show. Please stick around. Listener view discretion will be advised because I will swear, smoke cigarettes, make funny faces, and make fun of leaders because I should, goddammit. Ha ha ha. See you in a bit.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, episode 361 of the Crusty Canuck podcast, Ranting and Pondering. That's right, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Pardon my absence the past few days. I've had a really busy time at work. My schedule has just been out to lunch. So anyhow, let's not worry about that. Let's not ponder that. Let's just keep things in perspective here, shall we? Now, politics is changing ever so rapidly. It's just turning into a real poop show. And before I forget here, pardon my expression, shit. This podcast is also brought to you in part by and supported by Veterans for Freedom Network. That's right, stand to Veterans for Freedom, and coming soon, Veterans for Freedom TV. And if you like and hear you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast, all of your social media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be shy. But like I said, I've been busy at work, so pardon me for not getting to you promptly and getting a proper episode up to you in a timely manner. But I see my subscriptions have come up too. I'm at a cool 13,024. Thank you very much, you wonderful people. That is excellent of you all out there. Much appreciated. And a special thank you to my new American listeners and viewers. And I've been receiving a lot of European viewers. I go look at my Podbean stats. And wow. Thank you very much. I am very blessed. Please share the podcast all over your social media platforms. Do not be shy. So this episode's kind of special. I didn't put together any kind of factoids. I didn't put any kind of statistics or articles from news, clips, what have you. I'm just basically going to rant this time here. Okay. Now, I'm over 50. I'm not a young brush man anymore. I've done some stupid things with my life. I've done this. I've done that. But needless to say, I did have a great career in the military. And I've got a great job now, which keeps the lights on and keeps this podcast going. I'd prefer to have more donations to get more podcasts and get everything out into a timely manner. However, I'm not going to demand cash. I like to get the information out there and just share my thoughts with you wonderful people. So to make a long story short, politics in this country does suck. Okay, I've had Americans ask me, there's an Isabel down in San Diego who's asked me some pretty cool questions in regards to the Canadian political scheme and how we operate up here. And I basically just told her, not so many words, it's a real shit show, because it is. Okay. Now, one thing I'm getting really sick and tired of seeing is that every goddamn news broadcast out there, doesn't matter if it's CTV, doesn't matter if it's Global, CBC, any mainstream media outlet in this country is starting to kind of question Carney's integrity. It's like, okay, so where was this questioning of this integrity when Trudeau was in charge? Okay. I don't give a shit about Mark Carney. I really don't. Okay. He's just another rich ass blowhard who's good with numbers, knows how to manipulate the system. Okay. We all know that WF is not a friend to this country. WF is not a friend to any working democracy. Okay. They're not. I don't care how you butter it up. I don't care how you try to make excuses up for it. It's not. They are not good people. Okay. Anybody who has to sit in a forum has to spend so much money to go to said conference and talk about how we have to live our lives and what we put in our bodies and what computers we can use and what we can say online, what we can do online, and how we can't do this, now we can't do that. They're not friends of mine, and they're definitely not friends of yours, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, they're not. It is safe to say. I, for one, I'm getting sick and tired of this rivalry between the haves and have-nots, or as Pierre Poilievre would say, the haves and have-yots. However, okay, if you work your ass off to buy a fucking yacht, so be it. If you work your ass off and don't buy a yacht, so be it. You should have the ability to work your ass off in this country and be able to put money away for a rainy day without worrying about the whole tax system. Oh, yes, the CRA and their ever so question taking more money from you and me, right? We could do that. But then what's left for the guys who are actually working? Like myself, like my wife, like friends of mine, right? Like my father, my stepmother, who worked their asses off for a good 40 plus years to enjoy the retirement they have now. Now, myself and my sisters, we're getting to that point where we have to think about retirement too in the next 15, 20 years. So what's going on with the economy right now? So while people are in the streets bitching about Palestine, bitching about fucking Ukraine, okay, and I'm not dissing Ukrainians out there, okay, but we got to put a stop to these little fucking proxy wars here. Enough, okay? Enough of this shit. In this country, we don't have a pot to piss in when it comes to military spending, because apparently a lot of money goes into the services, but nothing comes out of it because the procurement issues, bureaucratic issues, red tape issues, and too many people with their hands in the fucking pie. Okay? Now, we also have individuals that sit around and criticize defense spending, defense purchases, and procurement. Don't get me going on the fucking procurement fucking nightmare. Have to have boards of people to sit and decide what's good for here, what's good for there. Oh, this will be good here because we have to have proper Canadian contracts and tenders here and have a good competitive spirit. World's fucking burning, world's on fire, and you're worried about goddamn fucking helicopters and nuts and bolts where you buy the Canadian Tire or the local fucking hardware store. I'm not saying the world's on fire. I'm just using an example because usually when there's been an emergency in this country to get something done, they will buy a quick purchase and then regret it later because they'll buy just off the shelf without doing any kind of fucking research on how good that equipment is. Take a look at the Griffin helicopter, for example. Basically, a civilian-style helicopter that has been modified over the years to meet a basic military standard, right? That replaced the twin Hueys we used to have. That's the thing. And the politicians that we put in charge to make these decisions don't really think about the long-term effects when it comes to these decisions. Probably because half those individuals that sit on these boards, that sit in Parliament, or sit around and scratch their ass and receive anywhere from 125 to about 200,000 bucks a year to go, buy that one. Oh, I want that one. Don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? That's just part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to defense procurement. But with seeing how these individuals operate and roll when it comes to making the big decisions for Canada in the name of security or defense or economics, they're just not fucking doing it. They're not. It's as simple as that, right? Their big picture is to get into Parliament and do whatever the hell they want at your expense. And I've got friends in Britain that are telling me too, how the police are cracking down on people who are saying terrible things online. I'll tell you this right now, if Mr. Carney gets in, he will either reinstate a certain bill or put more emphasis on a certain bill to tell you and me what to do and what we can see. Is that a good thing? Think about the past 10 years and the censorship crisis that everyone's gone through. Think about that, Canada. Back after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 361 of the Crusty Canuck podcast, Ranting and Pondering. That's right. It's a big warning. I'm just pissed off, and I'm getting sick and tired of the lackadaisical, slack-it-idle leadership that we see in this country. Okay? Now, I've had people say, Crusty, why don't you get off your ass and go run? And Crusty, why can't you do this? Well, I actually ran for office in 2021 under the Veterans Coalition Party banner. And I actually had a pretty good eye-opening experience with doing that, too. Had some great talks with the fellow candidates, except for the Green Party, because they're fucking commies. And I don't care what you say. They are socialist-based, Marxist-based, and they live in the fucking trees. That's just me, though. They live in the goddamn trees. They're freaking tree nymphs. Ah! Anyhow, I shake my head at some of the mentality of some of the people who want to get into politics, too. Okay. I've actually seen an advert, too, in the tube called the Animal Rights Party. Hey, I'm all for certain animal rights, but a cheeseburger is a cheeseburger, a steak's a steak, and a moose steak is a moose steak. So that's self-explanatory, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not going to sit and dwell about what party says this and that little tidbit parties popping up here. What I'm going to talk about is the simple facts when it comes to democracy in this country. What do you want to do, right? And I keep seeing an abundance of people who are constantly treating these people like saviors and heroes. And oh my goodness, we're going to get this for you. We're going to fight for you. Oh, we're going to get this. Oh, yes. Oh, look at us. Look at what we're doing for you. We're going to fight for you at the expense of your fucking wallet and everything you've invested for, right? Jagmeet Singh on his tangent today, watching there on CTV, talking about how, we're going to fight for more nurses here. We're going to get more programs, and they're bragging about their dental and the medical program they put together. You go talk to a regular dentist and see what he or she has to say about the whole NDP liberal dental program. I am pretty sure you'll get much of this. And the medical program, okay, certain diabetic medication and prophylactics for young girls. Is that a breakthrough in medicine? Oh, here's a condom for you, and here's a pill for you, and for you, my dad, I've got a friend. Here's a shot, but you'll have to pay for at least 5 of them at first, right? Now, I don't know whole facts about the whole diabetic medication, but I've heard good things, and I've heard some real terrible things. So weighing the odds, the terrible and the good, self-explanatory, because any government program is bound to fail, okay? There are still so many elites out there that constantly want to hang on to this socialist or quasi-socialist idea where it's okay for you to give us 20% of everything you earn, and we might give you about maybe 5 or 6 back every fiscal year. Or in today's terms, you pay about 42% or more in taxes, and we might give you 3% back in guise of the frickin' rebate, right? That fucking fiasco. All right. I have yet to see a rebate because apparently, according to CRA, I owe them so much money because I made so much this year and so much that year. Really? If I made so much goddamn money, why am I struggling? Why? Right? Because some nerd in a cubicle about the size of my desk here for the podcast can sit and collect a good paycheck and only have to go to his office 3 days out of the week? Is that why I make more money? Is that why you have to pay more money? So some snot-nosed fucking number gatherer can tell me, you better pay some more or else. According to the Income Tax Act, you have to pay this. Well, I like to tell some of these people who back up the CRA, we're not fighting the Germans in France anymore. So the Income Tax Act is a fucking con. There, I said it, eh? Not to mention every other goddamn income tax scam out there for Canadians to keep paying more and more. Now, don't be swayed, ladies and gentlemen, about this whole carbon taxes off the gas pumps. Life is so much easier. Well, the prices have gone down. True, right? True, the prices have gone down. But you still got to pay for it when you buy your fucking power, your hydro in some parts of the country. Utilities still has to charge you carbon tax because they get dinged for carbon tax. And when you go to the grocery store to pick up that steak that you can afford because it's $2 or $3 off, it's still going to cost money to bring it to said stores so you can buy it. Right? So every truck that's dropping off goods, every airplane flying across the nation, dropping this off, every train dropping this off, carbon tax, carbon tax. Because, of course, the Liberal Party still thinks the planet is burning, but they have the ability to travel freely. Right? Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Even Mark Carney proposed something about frickin' carbon credits, the same shit that Mr. John Kerry down in the States likes to brag about when he makes an appearance at Davos in Switzerland. That man is so fucking phony. What pissed me off about him the most is that he was impassioned when he was a Vietnam vet talking in Congress about the whole atrocities that were going on and how they got to fix the system. Now you look at a guy like that. Mucho dinero, lots of money, beaucoup l'argent, eh? And he's telling guys like me and other Americans and other Canadians what we should do to save the planet, eh? What we should do to save the planet. Exactly, save the planet his way. Just give up some liberties, just give up some things, right? And the past 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, should have woken up millions in this country. There's hundreds of thousands of out there saying, no, we don't like what you have to say, and we're going to listen to or watch Rebel News instead. Or we don't like what you have to say. We're going to watch Juno News, or we're going to watch this guy, or listen to this podcast, or watch this dude, or watch Joe Rogan, or get some other additional information from another source, because the whole conglomerate is thinking alike. Let's put this narrative out here to manipulate this and this narrative over here. Okay. An example of this. Okay. Now, once again, ladies, I'm not dissing you. I'm not going to disenfranchise any female that is trained to be a pilot who's gone to space or has gone anywhere for that matter in an aircraft, okay? But they made such a big stink about that rocket that went up in space today with all these celebrities, all these females, the first ever full female flight, the crew of this rocket. And I'm like, okay, which one is the actual qualified pilot? Which one is actually qualified to steer it into space? And as far as I know, that rocket they shoot up, it's already programmed to go up and come down again. Okay. And as far as I know, the Captain Kirk, last year, William Shatner was up there in space. And I think the price tag was about 150, maybe 250,000 bucks a pop for someone to travel into orbit. So basically you go up and you come down. And they make it sound like it's some kind of great big fucking achievement. Like every one of those ladies was Amelia Earhart in their own right. Okay. They took a ride. That's what they did. Huh? They took a ride. It wasn't like they conquered space. They built the rocket themselves, engineered it, understood the weight measures and the load measures and the thrust measures and all like that. It's just they got into the rocket, got shut up into space, and then came back down again. That's it. Okay. And I'm not dissing anybody who wants to do that. I'm not dissing any of the engineers, anybody who worked on that program to make that a reality so a paying customer can do it. Hey, that's great. Fantastic. Okay. But that's an example of how things get manipulated. You see what I mean? That's an example on how things are being twisted and torted to our viewing pleasure. Breads and circuses, ladies and gentlemen, breads and circuses. Shit simple, but it's so hard for some people to decipher, Is there hope for us? I'd like to think so.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 361 of the Crusty Canuck podcast, Ranting and Pondering. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and just a reminder, too, if you like and hear what you see, click like, subscribe, share this content over your social media platforms. Doesn't matter where you find it, Rumble, YouTube, anywhere else in social media. You can find my podcast really anywhere, Apple, iTunes, etc. My homepage, my host of podcast is Podbean. So you can find crustycanuck.podbean.com. Ladies and gentlemen, check me out there too. And once again, thank you to a lot of my European viewers and subscribers. You guys are awesome. Great big round of applause. And a special thank you out there once again to Chuck and Karen out of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Isabel and Nadia out of San Diego, California. So thank you very much for your kind words and gestures. Well done. Thank you, Paul, once again for making this beautiful title card for me. All is good, buddy. Nothing's wrong. I just took a breather from the online world for a bit just to clear my head and try to formulate this episode, believe it or not. So that's why I'm not having any articles put up here. I'm not going to sit and put any more gimmicks up here. Just straight talk, me to you, you wonderful people. It's that simple, and we forget that when we put things together. We forget that in the age of social media. Okay, we do. We forget simple things when it comes to keeping it simple. There's actors I have met throughout the years who would approach a script, approach a scene, and have that little scenario in their head, keeping it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Don't overplay something. Don't overread into something. Create a rhythm, go into it. It's like music. A few chords in the guitar, pick up a rhythm. E-A-B, E-A-B-A. We all remember that from Kids in the Hall. Little Bobby taking on the devil. Huh? E-A-B. Okay, I'm digressing anyway. But I think you know what I mean. Okay? And we're missing that simplicity again, too. There's nothing wrong with going to hard work and going above and beyond and going an extra mile for somebody, too. But I'm also seeing that if you go an extra mile for somebody, there's an overwhelming amount of people who don't consider that. They don't consider that extra mile. They don't consider that extra effort. They don't consider that extra sausage you might have put on their plate to make them feel good. Right? Here's an extra sausage for you. Yes. And not even a simple fucking thank you. An example of this the other day, I was at Tim Hortons. Yes, I'm guilty as charged. I still enjoy Tim Hortons coffee. I'm not buying any of these boycott shit, whatever. When I go to work, I like my coffee. Okay. Now, I did a kind gesture there to an individual. I was in line, waiting in line. Okay. I bought my coffee for the day. And I asked the lady behind the counter, said, how much is the coffee for the person behind me there. And she says, "Oh, that's about $4 they pay." So, okay, I'll pay their bill. Just, no big deal. Pay it forward kind of thing, whatever. Just trying to be a good guy. Okay. And what I usually do is I grab my coffee, I'll park my truck around the side, and I'll fill up my thermoses. Okay. Because the actual restaurant isn't open when I go to work, just the drive through is. And that person realized that I paid for their coffee. And the best thing they could do is just drive right by me and not say a fucking thing. Right? Now, not that I was expecting some gratuitous award or a pat in the head saying, "Oh, thank you, Crusty Canuck, for the coffee." A simple thank you would have been nice. A simple gesture like, "Hey, how you doing? Thank you." Thumbs up. Not a goddamn thing. Okay? Little things like that really fucking bug me. Okay? Because I wasn't expecting any kind of parade or any kind of medal or award, just a simple thank you. How many times have you, my wonderful audience, actually held the door open up for somebody and either get a or not even a gesture? How many times? Okay? Something like little things like that. So, not that little things should bug you and eat at you, but when you go to your way for somebody and you don't see any kind of return or gratitude, it puts you in that category of, okay, where the fuck are we going? I'm not saying the human race is going to end because some douchebag didn't say thank you for his coffee. But when you see more and more people doing that every day, it should be concerning, right? So all the more reasons for you to be out there and try to be considerate and polite to the best of your ability, regardless of what job situation you're in. There was a time my wife and I were in the Home Depot in Lloydminster. And there was a clerk there. She was kind of rude. Now, my wife and I had a little disagreement when it came to who was going to pay, right? So here comes this purple-haired freak. We'll call her Karen. She had a different name, by the way, because it's on their aprons. But we'll call her Karen. Okay? And she had the audacity to point her finger at me and say, "Don't you argue with women." I'm looking at her going, what? And honestly, I was in no mood for her shit. I was in no mood for anyone's shit. I just kept my mouth shut and said, "All right, sorry." Then I started thinking, since when is it a store's worker's prerogative to tell customers what to do? Interesting, eh? Since when is it any retailer to tell customers what to do? If you're committing some kind of safety infraction or being a danger or a nuisance to other customers, I can see that. But if I'm having a conversation with my wife and here comes this thing, I will call her a thing, right? Some aging hipster saying, "Don't argue with a woman." You're almost prone to take her outside and give her a smack. Not to encourage that kind of behavior, but you know what I mean. And I wonder how many men out there who've watched this show understand exactly what I'm talking about, right? And little things like that make you think, okay, well, where are we going to here? See, I'm always a firm believer that if you want power, you have to get off your ass and earn it, just like cash, just like respect. Okay, you've got to earn that power. Gone are the days, as far as I'm concerned, when you can just take it or charge it, rack up a debt, and just keep taking power. That's how the government works. We're better than that, ladies and gentlemen, and we should be better than that. We should be. We should be better that to the highest point of the law, the highest point of your own personal law. We should be better, right? With all the innovations that we have out there today, i.e., like I said about the rocket going into space and coming down, this computer here, having a podcast, certain telephones, this thing, the innovations you can get from this thing, right? You can pay your bills, pay your taxes, say hello to loved ones across the ocean. Innovations. But then when are we going to step up, right? We've been too reliant on these things. We had it's addictive. Jesus Christ, last night I was watching television. I was watching that Wheel of Time, and I'm just, okay. And I'm playing with my phone, looking at my podcast stats, looking at certain sports, looking at sci-fi stuff, just tidbits here, certain video AI stuff, just, probably increase the podcast later on. And before I know it, it was 3:00 in the morning. And I'm going, fuck, what the hell am I doing? Well, I wasn't impressed with Wheel of Time, but in the same sense, it's like, fuck, I was too busy playing on this damn thing. So Priorities, priorities, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do better with our priorities. And to you, my wonderful Canadian audience, especially coming this election, we have got to put our priorities in order. Okay. Are these candidates going to do anything good for us? Jagmeet Singh wants more benefits than government programs. We're going to fight for you. Bullshit. Maybe a martial artist thing, but you haven't fought for a goddamn thing other than your pension. Okay. And Mark Carney, his monotone ways, everybody's praising Mark Carney. You watch the Twitter feed, X, formerly known as Twitter. You watch that feed and see how many people just love Mark Carney. And nobody's talked about Trudeau. Interesting, eh? Because he's hiding. That's why he went to go Canadian Tire and do some shopping. Oh, yes, Mr. Trudeau, you putz. But you're just seeing Carney as Trudeau 2.0. That's it. He's basically got the same cabinet as Justin did, give or take a few honchos who couldn't give a shit, right? And then we've got the debates coming up in the next couple of days. We got the French debate on the 16th, right? I believe on Wednesday, and then the English debate on the Thursday. So there'll be probably some decent TV out there to sit and watch how they're going to pander back and forth and accuse this and accuse that and blah, 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 right? But I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, you watch the debates and see where it goes. And then weigh the odds, okay? I remember when the Liberal Party used to be liberal, not illiberal or illiterate or fucking socialist. They were very, very liberal, each to their own. Do your own thing. Just don't hit people and take their stuff. Now, when you see the contrast of that now, they want all your stuff. They want you to pay for more stuff, buy more stuff, go into debt to pay more stuff, and then rely on them to fix it. What has the Liberal government fixed for this country thus far? Right? And that'd take a U.S. president to warn about tariffs and warn about annexation to motivate some of these individuals. But they're still not fucking doing it right. They're not. And I really don't think they're going to see anything right until the 28th of April. So my fans, friends, and fan base out there, when it comes to this federal election, really consider what's going to benefit you and your family. Is the cost of living going to go up or is it going to go down? Are taxes going to go up or are they going to go down? Are we actually going to have a standing military in this country that will stand on guard for thee? Right? And have senior leadership and politicians back it up as they should? Are seniors going to get ahead? Are we going to get along with our First Nations like we should? Are there going to be Quebecers going to see the light and stop realizing that there's more to Canada than just La Belle Province? Are people in Ontario going to see that too? There's more to Canada than just what you see outside of the GTA. Right? That's what I'm hoping for, to see a bigger and broader Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Our home and native land. It's shit simple. Right? I'm getting sick and tired of this division and this anti-American rhetoric and this anti-Canadian rhetoric too. We're seeing a lot. Right? And when people like myself or other people I know are out protesting something, they get harassed by the cops, and yet pro-Palestinians, pro-Hamas, get coffee and donuts. We've all seen that footage, right? So we have to think what's going to happen in this country if we let what's going on now reign supreme after the 28th. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, this has been a winded episode. So I wish good things for you all out there, folks. This has been another episode of the Crusty podcast, episode 361, Ranting and Pondering, right? So I wish good things for you out there. I hope you all get along. Better weather is coming in our area anyway, so a lot of snow is melting. Mind you, still watch the roads. There's still some sloppy spots, some messy spots. It'll be easy to get stuck. Pay attention to what you're doing. Keep yourself safe. Keep your chin up and persevere. Help each other out in these trying times. We will be the light in this manufactured darkness, and we will not tolerate any more of this insolent pandering, right? Because we, the taxpayers, Canadians, Americans, British, all my friends around the globe, we all deserve better. Why? Because we fucking work for it. It's that simple. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck this beautiful 14th of April, 2025. I wish good things, as I mentioned. Look after your friends, your loved ones. Try to keep your wits about you. Be safe out there, right? And we shall persevere, and we'll find light in this manufactured darkness. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time, folks. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
To absent friends, I'll never forget. Always remember. HUA, heard, understood, acknowledged. Who up?